What's up YouTube, I'm just another guy and welcome to my Past the Premier League. We're now 3/4 of the way through the season with March. With only 9 games left remaining in the league. We're going to jump straight into the transfers because there have been a few more in the latter stages of January that we didn't actually see. So Brian Donald went out on loan to Norwich. He wasn't getting as many first team games as he had for the previous few years, so he wanted to go out on loan. So I approved that. I don't really mind. I still think he can be an important player for us in the future. You know, if that potential is a 3-star, if he reaches that, that's a decent player. That's a bench player. You know, that's a player that can come in the squad when I need him to. So that's a squad player really. And I wouldn't mind that at the side, so I'm willing to let him go out on loan and get some first team football at the Premier League. And he's currently doing very well. Elsewhere, he went back on loan to Crawley. It was only a 6-month loan, so I let him go back out there to finish up his season. Hiddick, we sold for 4k. Young player, went out on loan pretty much for 4 seasons, came back off, a short one off York and MK Dons, and I decided I just didn't want him anymore. So he's gone out to Welling for 4k. It's not a lot of money when you look at his value, but it was the most I could really get from him. And, he wasn't ever going to become a really great player, so I decided it was best to let him leave. Jean-Frank is a new player, so I'll show you him when it comes to it. Schürrle as well went out on loan to QPR, and we let go of Hamza Benelli. So this guy here, which I'll go into a second, he's a centre mid as well, and he's a young centre mid, so I've just decided, I'd rather bring through the next generation now than wait and then have this guy let the rest of the season. I've made a profit off him. I've made 625k after a year and a half of work. Okay, I've let him go to Stoke, which are currently our Champions League rivals, but still, I don't really mind that. He's a good player, yes, but like I said, I'd rather have the next generation come through right now, have them already in the first team squad, and let this guy, who was only going to be here till the end of the season anyway, let him go. And I picked up a bit of money for him rather than let him go on a free. I think that's a good bit of transfers there. So go to the ins now. You already knew about the first two, Bergman and McNain. So Jean-Frank, he come in, a left midfielder, decided to let him go out on Crew, decided to let him go out on loan to Crew, just to get him first team football. I mean, he's not going to get anywhere near the side right now, but he's currently got good potential in him, so I think that's a good free transfer. And the latest guy from Inter Milan, Lilo Copandon. I think you say that, I'm not too sure. It's a difficult name, really. But this guy is a very good centre mid. He's got 5-star report on him, potential, and 2-star currently. He's one of our best centre mids, according to my assistant manager. And, overall, I think this guy's got a great potential ahead of him. Work rate is 17, so obviously he's going to be working hard. Hopefully that can help him improve his stats a little bit more. But overall, I think this guy's got a great future ahead of him. Coming from Inter, he already made an appearance for Inter this season. From when we've played him, he's really played a lot of games for us this season, considering he's only been here a short amount of time. And he's played very well and we've called upon him. So, I think this is a great player here. Definitely one who will be a beast in the future. So the transfers, wrapping up this season with 61 million spent and 25 million brought in. Forgot to mention that, just 12.5 million, will be spent over, over clauses. We'll have a look at them right now. 2.5 million after 10 international matches for Italy. I expect that to be a few years down the line, considering his age. 10k per game for the next 43 games. It's not really a lot of money. 1 million after 30 league goals. I expect that to be quite a few years in the future as well. And 20.83k, per month for the next 4 years. So again, that's not too much money per month. So I'm happy with them clauses there. So, this month, this section of games, I'm going to say I'll be disappointed with them. We've not won as many games as I would like to, and that's the reason why we've currently dropped down to 6th. Okay, if you want to look at the games in hand, we've got a game in hand on a team above us, like your Stoke and United. If we win them, we can go up to 3rd, but still, if Reading wins theirs, they can go up to 3rd, and we go down to 4th. We're still, in a very tight battle for 3rd and 4th place. Ideally, I want to get 3rd, because that way we don't have to qualify for the Champions League, and we get straight into the group stages. But overall, the main aim is to get Champions League football. And surprisingly, the likes of Reading and Stoke are really causing us trouble, while Liverpool have slumped down to 10th and things like that. So, this quarter of the season that we've gone through, it's not been too great. This is definitely could have been better. So we'll just jump into the fixtures. There we go. I'm just getting all my words muddled up today. So last time he met me off was this Tottenham game where we won 3-1 after facing them in pretty quick succession. So at that next weekend we faced Fulham in the FA Cup, and we played a very rotated side. Still was a strong side, don't get me wrong. It's not like I, played my under-18s. It was a good side, Jefferson, David, Brooks, Salazar, it was a very strong squad that I believe had enough ability in it to beat the likes of Fulham. But sadly, they dominated us. We never really got going in the game. We never really looked threatening enough. And in the end, Fulham walked away quite comfortably with a 2-0 victory. So, poor to be knocked out of the FA Cup when we did, especially when we got very far in the Capital One Cup. I was expecting a cup run this year in the FA Cup. But, we'll have to move on from that. At least, it got rid of maybe a distraction. Again, looking at positives. Elsewhere, after that, we faced Manchester United away from home at Old Trafford, and it wasn't until a late equaliser from Ruben Jimenez in the 93rd minute to give us a point. And really, we didn't really deserve anything out of the game. They scored a late goal, though, United themselves, and, that would have been that was very unfortunate. We put on a great defensive display. We probably deserved to just scrape a point, and at the end of the day, Ruben Jimenez's goal gave us that. We'll have a look at Lilo Companion's first ever goal for Billericay as well. He'd not been at the squad too long when he scored this as well, so, definitely a good player if he can just come into the side and play very well from the get-go. Normally in a new country and things like that, it takes a little bit of time for players to settle in on some occasions, but this guy, no worry about that. Just come in and instantly it was a hit. You see great tag from Brooks, and he just latches onto a ball, picked up a slight knock as well, in that game. Smashes at home, so a great performance there to earn us a point at Old Trafford. Following that, though, we had 2 tough games against Liverpool and Chelsea. The first game was at home to Liverpool, a game I would expect us to beat, like I pointed out in the league table. They're currently 10th, so really they're a mid-table team, and we should be beating them. But we just play poorly. We didn't play up to the standard I know we can. They got a 2-goal lead in the first 20 minutes, so, that puts us on the back foot from the get-go. But Jefferson scored in the 36 minutes, so really with just under an hour in the game remaining, we really could have just got a goal, and we just weren't playing well enough going forward. David had a bad game, Jimenez had a bad game. We just weren't posing a threat in the opposition half as well as we should have, and in the end it cost us a point. And this was an easy game. I feel that we could have easily picked a point up. Going into the game, I thought we could have beat them, but of course, situation changed after the first 20 minutes, and in the end I would have settled for a point, but we couldn't even get that, so poor performance there from the team. Following that, we faced Chelsea away from home at Terry Park, and for some reason we just couldn't get going either. 2 shots all game, 39% possession. I don't consider Chelsea a amazing team in the league. To me, City United are definitely the top 2 elites. Then it's the likes of like Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool. I'd say they're teams that, they're good, yes, but really now we're at a standard where I think we can beat them if we try. But it just seemed like the team didn't try this game. Marco Spinner had a bad game. Of course, Mpagwe was injured still, so the young Australian is getting his games. And he's only 17, so really for me to be calling up on him in these big games is quite an ask. And he had his first bad performance, and really it cost us a game. But again, the sole blame can't go on Marco Spinner because we just didn't really start. We didn't really turn up at Terry Park, and poor performance overall, one we swiftly had to move on from. And lucky for us, we had Coventry at home, so again it was quite an easy game, bouncing off 2 defeats like we did, and Jefferson and Christian Rodriguez giving us the 2 goals that we needed, and again quite a comfortable victory in the end. Match stats wise, probably deserved a draw, Coventry, but they didn't get enough shots away at our goal, and they we were quite fortunate with our goals as well. So lucky for us, we had them when we did, and we managed to pick up all 3 points. After that, we faced Oxford. Oxford aren't a great team in the league, a team I definitely expect to pick up all 3 points. Salazar got himself sent off in this game for the 3rd time this season, so he's having a really bad time in terms of discipline. Something I have been finding him and things like that. He doesn't seem to be taking any attention to it. But it was a comfortable game in the end. Brooks and Karamin Brooks gave us a 1-goal lead. They equalised. Karamin then scored in the 67th minute, giving us the lead yet again. So the sending off, we were already then at that point. We could sit back and defend. Karamin give us a 3rd, swiftly after the sending off though. So it just gave us that 2-goal cushion that ideally every team wants when they are sitting back and when they are defending. So good performance here against Oxford, one I'd expected as well. So it's good to see that we're performing how I want them to. Following that, we face Reading. Reading are currently just above in the league. They're currently 5th, and they are our Champions League rivals. So this was a massive game for 4th, and disappointingly, Reading took their chances and we didn't. This seems to be a story that seems to be happening a lot right now in these recent games. We just haven't taken our chances. Other teams have, or we've taken our chances and other teams haven't. This seems to be what's happening this season for us anyway. Haven't really dominated many games in the Premier League, But this is a game I would have expected us to at least come away with a point, especially when you look, they got a man sent off in the 46th minute, which means for a full half, they're pretty much down to 10 men. And still, we never really looked like we were dominating. We never really looked like we were in control, despite the man advantage. And in the end, they even scored again after the sending off. So, you know, it seems like Reading are a difficult team for us to face, with an ex-player, Jules Roberts, one of our ex-players, having a game of his life against us. Probably showing why we shouldn't have got rid of him, but, you know, poor performance here at Reading. Definitely one we're going to want to improve upon. Then we had our Europa League knockout round. This is the first ever time we'd gone to the knockout rounds of the European competition. So, to start it off, we had an away game at Genoa, and for us, we lost 1-0. This was disappointing. I felt a draw would have reflected how we played in this game. Ideally, I wanted the away goal. I know the away goal is going to be a huge importance for us in this competition, and I wanted one here. Just so we could go into the second leg and know that, you know, we had the ability, we could concede a goal and it wouldn't really cost us too much. But sadly for us, we didn't take our chances, and Genoa was very lucky with their goal. They were very lucky to get a goal, really. And it gave them the slender advantage going into the second leg. But at the end of the day, that goal didn't really turn out to much, as, okay, they took the lead in the 10th minute, giving them a 2-0 advantage. You know, it looked quite dangerous for us with the away goal, but, you know, Alan Brooks picking up one in the 13th minute, Jefferson in the 58th. Brooks yet again in the 61st, and a very late goal from Andre Karamin. Showed how well we played in the game. You know, we did dominate this game, and we thoroughly deserved to go through in the competition. I feel anyway, like over the course of both legs, we probably did enough to, you know, beat Genoa, and in the scoreline in the second leg definitely reflected how the difference in quality between the teams. Where's this guy from? America. Sorry, the name is obviously didn't look Italian. I want to know where he's from. But, you know, end of the day, good performance from the team. You know, dominant performance from the team, and one that I want to see more of in Europe, because, you know, we're a strong team, but it seems like when we play in the Champions League and you know, Europa League last year and stuff like that, our squad doesn't seem to play as well. I'm not sure if that's an experience or whatever, but, you know, this is going to be a key learning curve for us in Europa League knockout rounds, and hopefully we can go quite far in it. So that puts through to the Europa League second knockout round. So in between that second knockout round first leg, we ended up facing Arsenal in a 1-1 draw at home. Sadly for us, they got a bit of karma back on us. I'm pretty sure we scored late on against them earlier on in the season. 87th minute equaliser from Luis Alberto Shakura. So when they come to our place, they thought it was only right that they picked up a 91st minute goal and earned themselves a point. They did deserve the point. In fact, they probably deserved all 3 points. So we were quite fortunate at the end of the day, but a good defensive performance. Obviously, Shakura picking up the man of the match. Going forward, not presenting too much, not getting much of the ball. And really quite fortunate to be in the position we were in the 90th minute. So, you know, disappointing to see that our defence hasn't played a full game pretty much all season. They seem to always fall asleep near the end. And I'm not sure if it's the players. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I need to make a change in the defence. As you see there, I did actually take Cressinger off the field of play and bring on Stahl, but he's not exactly a beast of a player to bring on. So maybe I need to do something with that. After the Arsenal game, we faced Blackburn Rovers, in the league, and it was away from home. But it was a game I'd expect us to come away with and win, and we did really comfortably in the end. You know, 4-0, we dominated them in terms of the goals, in terms of the deficit in the goals. But match stats wise, we didn't play incredibly well. We didn't, you know, control the game. We didn't deserve a 4-0 scoreline by any stretch of the imagination, but we managed to get one nevertheless, with Jefferson scoring very early on, which pretty much, you know, started us off great. You know, from that moment on, it was our game to lose. You know, we didn't look like we were going to lose it, where McName scored in the 80th minute, and then the final 10 minutes of the game, we came alive yet again, and we picked up another 2 goals. So, good, comfortable 3 points to pick up here at Inwood Park. And after that game, we got our first leg of the second knockout round in the Europa League. We faced Braga, the Portuguese team. We faced them at home this time, so we had the first leg was at home. And I knew it was important that we didn't concede an away goal. And the game didn't really come to life until the 60th minute, when David got the scoring started with on the hour mark. And then Francisco Javier got a second pretty much straight afterwards. You know, 2-0 up, that's how I wanted to keep it. Because I knew, clean sheet, you know, Braga in a tough position then, because we dominated, the way we dominated them, the way we were playing, it didn't look like they were going to cause too much of a threat, no matter if they were home or away. But lucky for them, you know, we gave away a penalty. And they scored it, and 2-1, you know, 2-1. Braga in a great position. They know the score line, and they can sit back and defend in their second leg. So it really was important that we could score again, or at least prevent them from scoring again. Like for us, scoring again came first. You know, 3-1, I thought that's great. 2-goal cushion going into the second leg. This is exactly what we wanted. That's exactly what we need to go into the second leg feeling confident. But nope. Perez, I think it's Perez, yep, scored for Braga in the 80th minute and gave him 2 away goals. That was really crucial that we don't concede away goals, and we've gone and given 2 to Braga. And it's definitely going to be tense going into the second leg. In between the second leg, however, we had a league game against Norwich, and we won this 2-1. We rotated the team a bit. You know, we were playing a few other names that maybe weren't in the starting 11 as often as they should have been, like Bruno Enrique. You know, gave him a game. Andre Bruno gave him a game in centre mid. Gajos gave him a game as well. And, you know, we just did enough to beat Norwich, despite having a really bad game. You know, Norwich will feel gutted that they didn't walk away with all 3 points. But for us, you know, defensively, we were quite sound apart from the 45th minute. And in the end, Luis Alberto Shakuro picked up the goal from the set piece, as he often does, you know, quite a lot. I've noticed it, you know, he scores quite a few late goals from set pieces. It seems to be a bit of a man that, you know, when everyone else around him sort of heads, you know, thinks the game's over, thinks the game's dead and buried, he'll stand up, he will shine, and he'll come through and get a goal for us. And as a centre-back, that's a great trait to have. Then came the big second leg. And we won 2-1. On the day, Jefferson was a beast. Jefferson really stepped up and showed me why I've given him his starting place in the starting 11. If that makes sense. I said starting too many times there. But, you know, he's showing me why I gave him the first spot striker. Why I've made him the first striker. Ugh, I can't think of the way to say it. Why I made him my starring striker. There you go, that'll do. So we scored in the first minute, and this was great. Of course, the 3-goal now lead. But it's still, and also ruling out one of their, a 2-goal lead, and ruling out one of their, away goals is great. Of course, that puts them in a difficult situation, but they scored in the 15th minute, which meant the game was pretty much still open. A goal for Braga would mean they go through. A goal for us would mean we're pretty much safe. And lucky for us, we managed to get it first with the 63rd minute goal from Jefferson. This is an important game as well. It means it puts us through to the quarter-finals of the Europa League. This is a great achievement from the side. The first time we've got to a quarter-final in a European competition. Here we see Lilo plays it back to Bruno. Bruno through to Jefferson. Jefferson touches it down nicely, rounds the keeper and slots it home. Pretty comfortable goal in the end from Jefferson, and a comfortable game really in the end. You know, it was pretty evenly fought, and I felt, you know, we deserved to come through with the win. You know, we were creating a lot of good chances. Okay, we only had 4 on target, but they were still the shots on target were pretty troublesome, and, you know, they had to defend well, Braga, just to stop us scoring 2. So that pretty much wraps up the current, you know, fixture list. A lot of European games, and we are through, like I said, the quarterfinals of the Europa League, and with the remaining games left as well, there's still Champions League position to play for. So we're battling on 2 fronts for the first time, I think, ever, actually, at this stage in the season. So it'll be interesting to see how the team performs. So here is the quarterfinals of the Europa League. We have Basel, the Swiss team. I reckon they're probably the easiest team we could have got. No disrespect to Swiss League or anything, but they're just not a great standard in comparison to the Germans, the Spanish, the Portuguese, and even the English League. But of course, they're going to possess quality. They've got here, and you don't get to the quarterfinals of competitions by fluke. You know, you have to play well, and you have to be putting in good performances. So of course, I'm going to be wary. First leg is at home, so hopefully we can perform well there, and in the away leg won't matter too much. But looking at the teams remaining, it was really important that we didn't get Arsenal or Liverpool. I felt, you know, of course we faced them, you know, twice a season, and I know that they definitely cause us problems, especially Arsenal, so it was really important that we could avoid them. Apart from that, I didn't really mind who we got. You know, as long as we didn't get an English team, I knew that, you know, I have a chance, because I haven't really faced any of these guys before. I think I've played Benfica, have I? I don't think I have. Maybe. No, I haven't. But I didn't really mind who we faced, because I don't really know the foreign teams too much. You know, I don't know who's a bit of a beast. I don't know who's, you know, that team that are lucky to get here. So I didn't really mind who we got, as long as it wasn't an English team. Then the semi-final draw was made, and again we managed to avoid Arsenal and Liverpool, which means we got either one of the Portuguese teams. We did face Braga earlier on, of course, and they're a Portuguese team. I think they're the 3rd or 4th place Portuguese team. I'm not sure what their qualifications are in the league, but, you know, we managed to beat them, I think, quite comfortably, I'd say, in the end. So of course, I think we have the quality to beat Sporting or Benfica. It's going to be difficult, but I still think we have the quality to beat them if we can overcome Basel. And then in the final, I just want to hope we avoid an English team. if we can get to the final day. Of course, I'm looking ahead like we did in the FA Cup that time when I said, if we can beat City, yada, 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 yada. I need to stop looking ahead. We need to beat Basel currently. And that is going to be a massive, massive game for us. So we're going to the awards. And we'll look at, not Golden Glove, we'll look at, if you want to, go. Okay, for some reason I can't actually, there you go. Okay, so goal of the month, Alan Brooks picks it up in December for his Ipswich one, we know about that, and Jimenez picks up second for his goal against Manchester United. We'll have a look at that in a second once we've done a few more. Manager of the month, we haven't got anywhere in that, I don't believe. Our performances haven't been too great in the league. We're not winning enough, I don't feel anyway. Player of the month, I doubt we'll get anywhere in that. Again, team's not played well enough to really deserve any accolade like this. And young player of the month, I don't think we got. Actually, we did. It's my bad. Luis Alberto Shakiro picked it up second in February, and in January, John Salazar picked it up. And even David Mazas, who's actually come in and played first team football at right back because of injuries at left back. Kressinger has gone over to the left side and is given David Mazas a time to get first team football. Salazar has played, really well this season as a whole, not just in this month. I think he's really stepped up amazingly to the, first team football, something that's never really happened to him in his career before. So, good performances there. So, overall, I want to actually point this out. Overall, the squad, we've had a lot of injuries, had a lot of, changes in the squads. David has played a lot of first team football this season. You see 24 appearances. Ipagwe is currently back from injury, but Spin has played a lot of football. Mazas has played a lot of football. McName's played a lot of football, but a bit of football at least. Jimenez has played quite a bit of football. Gagios, who's come in, has played his, fair share of football now, the 21-year-old, I should say, sorry. Considering he was on our first youth players to sign in the Premier League. Our squad's being rotated very well, and I'm pretty happy with the squad we've got currently. Copan has been, a bit of a beast since coming into the side. And overall, our centre-backs have been amazing this year, so, overall, the squad's played amazingly. You just need to, this last quarter of the season now, these last 9 games, we need to play our hearts out, play our souls out, and we'll get Champions League football, and hopefully we can go very far in the Europa League. I say we have the ability to win it, but looking at how we've played in Europe before, it seems like we struggle for some reason, and, I wouldn't rule it out. I'm not going to say, of course, we're no-hopers. We've got a great squad, a squad possessed of great youngsters, and if we can win the Europa League right now, who's to say in a few years' time we won't win the Champions League? That's what we've got to be thinking of. What else can we look at? I don't really think there's anything else really to look at. We can look at player stats, I guess. Jefferson is currently 4th highest goal scorer in the league. I don't expect him to, do too much. We can maybe become the 3rd highest goal scorer, but he's not going to go near Joe Stewart or, Akabutu, whatever his name is. Salazar is probably the most sent-off player in the league. It's not a great record to have. Jefferson, still one of the highest shots on target ratio, which is nice to see. And Luis Alberto Shakiro with the 4th highest average match rating. How often do these guys play, actually, the other guys? Papa plays, a decent amount of time, so I'll give him that. Again, with Cabin and all about Adji, whatever this guy's name is. They all play, they're all pretty much playing first team football. So for the 20-year-old though to be up there, the rest of these guys, weren't they all over 30 or in their 30s? I think this guy was 30. I think this guy was 32, 33. I think this guy was 32, and then, yeah. So you see, they're all in their 30s all up there playing, amazing, consistent first team football. Joe Stewart is 30. And then you look at Luis Alberto Shakiro, 20 years of age, still 10 years left in his career, I think we've got a bright future here at this side, and I'm really looking forward to see how this season progresses. The rest of this season could be historic. We could win the Europa League. We could get 3rd place, which would be the highest ever finish in the Premiership. So, big season. Next time I see you, hopefully we can have some great historical news. And until then, peace out.